Are you feeling the pinch at the grocery store? Well, say goodbye to pricey takeout and hello to affordable, delicious home-cooked meals. In this video, we're going to show you 3 Italian-inspired dinners for under $30, and they all have super easy recipes and, of course, a budget-friendly grocery list. So let's get into it. Now, before we get into the grocery list, I just want to let you know what kind of supplies you'll need. Basically, you're going to need a skillet. These are not technically skillet dinners because we will actually be using a separate pot to boil pasta. So whatever you typically boil your pasta in, we need one of those. Now, there is an option where you may want to use an air fryer, but it's not a necessary item. So if you don't have an air fryer, totally fine. But all summer long, we are doing no oven required meals, so this definitely applies. Here is our grocery list. As you can see, it is only 13 items and it came out to $28.03. Always double check your fridge, your freezer, your pantry, because you may have some of these items and you can get your total a lot less. Now I have 2 links below. One goes to my Walmart grocery list where you can see all the items and what they cost in your area. Prices do vary a little bit, but in general, you could get all these items for under $30. The second link goes to my website where you can print a absolutely free PDF. It is 1 page in black and white, and it has the grocery list as well as the 3 recipes. So let's look at our first recipe. Now, our first recipe may look a little familiar because basically we are going to make some mini meatball sandwiches, but we like to do them open-faced around here. Just because the bread, if you have 2 pieces or if you have a big roll, it gets a little much. And we really like the Italian sausage and the sauce part, not so much the ton of bread stuff. So we're going to make some really simple, just meatball patties, okay? And when I say that, I mean, you can do it as a meatball where it's, a nice little ball, but it does work easier if you kind of squish them into like a patty, okay? Now, once we cook that, we're going to add about half of our tomato sauce or marinara sauce, let that cook, and then we're going to serve it on top of a slice of Italian bread. Now, this is what I mentioned where you can kind of switch this up. You could do it open-faced with a slice of cheese over, or you can do it as like a standard sandwich with 2 pieces of bread. It just depends on how you want to eat it. Now, the other option here is you can pre-toast your bread just using a regular toaster if you want, and then add your sausage patty and the sauce and the cheese, or you could top everything and then throw it into your air fryer for a couple minutes just to get that cheese all bubbly. So lots of different ways you can do this. And then we're just going to do a simple spinach side salad where we'll have tomatoes and, of course, Italian dressing. Now, if you don't like Italian dressing, you can easily swap that out to whatever dressing you like. That's not a big deal. Now, I don't know about y'all, but anything involving garlic butter is a definite, oh, heck yeah, for me. But sometimes when you have to get out the butter, you have to add your own seasonings, chop garlic, it just gets a little much. I recently found this Land O'Lakes where it's garlic and herb butter all together. Better Goods has one, lots of different stores have ones. This one was like 6.5 ounces where some of the other ones were only 3 ounces. So you can use whatever you like, or you can make your own like compounded butter where it has garlic and herbs already in it. This just makes it super easy because we are going to basically saute our mushrooms in this butter sauce, and then it'll have enough to go all over our pasta. Now, I have bow tie pasta on this, but honestly, you can use any shape you like. You could even just use regular spaghetti noodles. I would just use whatever you have. Now, we usually use half a box. If you wanted to do double, you could easily double the amounts on this. No big deal. Now, we are going to use half of a rotisserie chicken. And what I mean by that is we're going to pull all the meat off of it. We're going to use half for this meal and half for the next meal. And then we're going to use the other half of the bag of spinach because we made side salads the night before, and we're going to include it in tonight's dinner as well. Now, this is a great one. I love the mushrooms and the spinach, but if those are not your favorite veggies, you could easily swap those out for something else. Now, I put that we're going to do 3 to 4 tablespoons of butter, but it really depends on how saucy you want your sauce. You could easily use, half of this tub, do like a 1/4 cup, whatever floats your boat there. We're going to play this one by ear. Now, I've put down that it's optional to have Italian bread because odds are good you will have some leftover bread from the night before. So honestly, any pasta is better with bread where you can, soak up all the sauce. So, of course, definitely use that as an option. Now, for this last dinner, I really wanted to show you 3 different Italian dinners that were not all the same. Meaning, if you wanted to eat all 3 of these in 1 week, you wouldn't even really notice that you were kind of eating the same flavors because we switched up some of our things. The first one had a marinara sauce, the second one had a butter sauce, and this third one has a pesto sauce. Now, if you're not a big fan of pesto, you could easily use the other half of the marinara on this one. You could use Alfredo. You can really use any sauce that you like. So don't get stuck if you're not a big pesto fan. Now, these gnocchi, you can get it in like the dry pasta section, or you can get it in the refrigerated section. The refrigerated ones do tend to be a little bit smaller packages. Maybe instead of a 16 ounces in the dry section, it's only 12 ounces in the refrigerated section. But I would always check because sometimes your local stores may have them on sale. To me, they basically both taste the same, and honestly, they cook about the same. Where basically you're going to boil water just like you would for pasta. You're going to drop your gnocchi in, and you're going to let it boil for about 2 to 3 minutes, and you'll notice that your gnocchi will all start to float. Once all of them are floating, it's a pretty good chance that they're all the way cooked, and then you just drain them and set them aside. Now, in our skillet, we are going to go ahead and saute off our diced tomatoes. We just want them kind of softened. And then we're going to add in our shredded chicken. We're going to do that cooked gnocchi back to the pan. And then we're going to stir in some pesto. Now, I'm pretty conservative with pesto because it's a very strong flavor. So I said 1/3 of a cup, which is about half of one of these small jars. If you really love pesto, do more. If you don't really love pesto, you could easily cut that in half, and you could even use some of the garlic butter from the night before and just kind of, lower the strength of that pesto a little bit. I will say that I believe it's Prego has a bunch of different lines of where it's like a pesto creamy sauce, almost like an Alfredo, and those are really good with this as well. So that could be an option for you if you think just regular pesto is too strong. Now, once again, I put optional Italian bread because if you have some left over, once again, pesto is a great one to have a little piece of, bread to go with it. If you have some of that garlic butter, you could easily make some garlic bread to go with it. Do that in your air fryer. Lots of options there. So I hope this mini meal plan of 3 Italian-inspired dishes on a really low budget has inspired you to have maybe a little Italy week at your house. Now, don't forget that you can go to my website and you can download the free PDF. It's just all on one page. It has the list and then all 3 recipes here for you. Now, this is week 10 of our series. We're hopeful that at some point you're going to have an entire notebook just full of all of these mini menus. So future you, when you get a little like, oh, what am I going to have for dinner? You can just kind of flip through this and then you have some menus ready to go that are easy to make. So I will see you guys in a few days. I hope you have a wonderful week.